All right, welcome back to Lesson Plans to Laces, the podcast where we take modern, everyday educational topics and connect it to sneakers through the eyes of two educators and sneaker teachers themselves. My name is James Jalidor. I go by It's Jalidor on all social media channels. And with me today is my wonderful co host, Teacher Heat. Mr. Guzman, introduce yourself and let the people know all about you once again.
Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Guzman, aka Teacher Heat. I am a special education teacher in Los Angeles, of course, and I am happy to be here.
Yeah, man. Look, summer's out or summer's in. Sorry, school's out, summer's in. And what have you been wearing lately? I know you hit some stuff up with Disney the other day, and y'all have gone out. I am more of a hermit during the summer, so if I'm putting a fit on, it's literally to make content. But what's been on feet for you lately?
Oh, I mean, pretty much. I'm just lucky that I went out because all it is just rotating shorts. I'm like at home. I'm not. Yeah, I got sandals on right now. I actually need new pairs of sandals because these things are pretty much cooked. Um, During the summer, pretty much the only time I'm changing clothes is when I make content as well. Like other than that, I mean, there's a white shirt and a hat. I don't even wear a hat. Like, like you got me on my good day at this point because I'm wearing a hat and a shirt.
Dude, that's awesome. I love protecting myself. I'm like that. Normally, I'm just in, the basically my pajamas, right? Like summertime, pretty much. So I don't put clothes on, really, shoes on, except to do content. You're not wrong. If we go out, it's a rarity. But yeah, so one of the things that we did do go out the other day, just to kind of point this one out for fun, we've talked about going and seeing some movies. And I thought this would be a really cool icebreaker, right? We did first day of school procedures the other day, and I have some personal first day of school icebreakers that are pretty fun. But I wanted to ask you, dude, Toy Story 5, okay? I'm 41. I remember coming through. Did y'all go and see Toy Story 5? I haven't yet. So no
I
spoilers.
have, yeah. I went and saw Toy Story 5 with my boys. They really wanted to see it because they love Toy Story. They're big Disney kids. I'm not a big Disney person. I go a lot, but it's not something I really enjoy. It's just something that they like doing. So I'm there for them. I'm not really there for myself, but they wanted to go watch that movie, and we went. We watched it. It's very enjoyable. They enjoyed it a lot.
Okay, and that makes me think because like I haven't been and seen it yet, and there's a lot of people that have had like thoughts about it, and I really try and avoid spoilers online for stuff like that. But it got me thinking because there's now 5 Toy Story movies, right? And there's a whole bunch of like animated shorts and spinoffs and everything. Uh, Question to you: what is a goated movie series in your book? Something that has either stood the test of time or it just ranks really high for you. What's a goated movie series?
For me personally, Harry Potter.
Ooh, love it.
Harry Potter one. What is it? It's 1 through 7, but it's really 1 through 8, right? Because they chopped up the last two to in parts. So it's one through eight, 8 movie series franchise. And all of them are really good. I also read the books, so I started when I was really young. I think I was in 6th grade when we got introduced to the first Harry Potter book. Um, and through there, I remember when she released the, like, what was it, the Half Blood Prince. Like, I went and pre-ordered that at Barnes and Nobles to get the book, so it's very nostalgic. And the movies hold pretty good, pretty well. And we watch them every winter. So every, like, a winter break, we watch them. So it's a movie series that I like never get tired of.
Dude, that's awesome that you do rewatches because I find it hard to do a rewatch of something especially if I love it, right? Because if I love something and I want to keep rewatching it, I find myself being more critical or like it doesn't live up every time. Like, has that happened with the Harry Potter series for you? Like you watch it a couple times, you're like, not that great.
No, no. Do you know what the first one? The CGI is terrible now. Like, it's just because it's outdated. Um, but I'm like you. I don't like rewatching things. I'm always about finding something new. Like, I think there's just so many things out there that you should probably be actively looking for new things to watch. But with that series, it's like I don't know, it just became a Christmas series. And it's something we watch every Christmas at this point. So I enjoy it, but yeah, I don't get too critical into it, especially with like the boys. They just like watching it, so it's not like I'm, oh, look how terrible this ogre looks. Like they could have done so much better because at the time that was the best, right?
Yeah. That's funny. So nostalgia ranks for yours as far as the goat, as far as like a criterion for your goat aspect. What's another reason, or perhaps like what are some of the reasons why Harry Potter is goated for you as far as a movie series?
Oh, I mean, I think it really encapsulated a very long series into the movies well. Like there are things that aren't the same, but as far as adapting to a movie franchise, I think it's probably one of the series that has done it the best. Like, the ending was fine. Nobody really left with like, oh, they really switched it up too much. I think most of the movies still hold well. Uh, I think one of the biggest gripes for me is just how old the kids got. Like, because there's, the books happen in sequence, but movies don't happen in sequence, right? They got a year in between, 2 years. All of a sudden, you got these kids who are supposed to be 10, 11, maybe 12, and now they're like pushing 20. So,
Stranger Things, like they're filming last season of Stranger Things, and these people are like the actors are supposed to be kids, and yeah, they got like college degrees now.
exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's just it's part of it, right? But I really, really enjoy watching the Harry Potter franchise, especially during the winter. And I think it's gotten better as it's aged as well. I think it's gotten even a crazier cult following where I remember watching those movies in the theater, and it wasn't like the craziest thing. But now it seems like with Harry Potter Land and Universal and all that stuff, it's
Oh,
really
that's true, yeah.
grown in culture, and those movies have held up with it where I thought they weren't.
Okay. Now, quick question: two of them as a Harry Potter guy. Are the books better?
Yes, yes, and I don't
Okay.
like reading. I'll be honest. I don't like reading. I read for information. I don't read for fun. Reading for
Okay.
fun is not fun to me. That's one of the reasons why I can teach reading because or phonics and phonemic awareness and stuff like that. Because I get kids who are just like, "Oh, this is boring." I was like, "I know, but you have to know how to do it." Like, I don't like reading, but I know it's very important and integral to what you need to do. Um, and that was one of the first books where I read it, and I was just like, "Whoa, this universe is insane." Like I can see myself, they're having these battles with like wands. I'm also really into like wizards, I guess.
Okay.
I think Rowling really hit it out of the park with that universe she created.
Okay.
um, and it's a book that I really enjoyed throughout my adolescence. Like I remember just I could not put it down when I got like the Half Blood Prince and all that. And I was in high school, so I'm like in there trying to read while doing work in high school, like like do my work as fast as possible so I could read a few more chapters type thing. It's really the only book that I've ever done that with, like the only series as well.
Dude, that's an awesome image of like, hey, I'm hustling to get my work done so that you got the book down on the side, like you were trying to read. Like that's
Yeah,
a
it's crazy,
throwback.
right?
That's a
Because
throwback. Yeah.
yeah, your teachers tell you like you should be reading, and here I am trying to read, but not at the right time.
Dude, I mean, I've had a couple kids that have come through where they will consistently just read in their spare time, like, we'll finish in class. I wish that was more common because, like, it is kinda like a dying art. Like, as the English teacher, that's a dying art. I love that. My second question, though, what's your house?
What's my what?
What's your house? Because every Harry Potter person has a house, right?
Oh, my
Slytherin,
house,
Gryffindor.
like the Harry
Yeah.
Potter house. Okay,
Yeah, what's your
so
Harry
I
Potter house?
so I even played the game, and I don't know if you've ever. They have a game. The game is actually really good as well, a video
Oh,
game.
yeah?
And in the video game, if you remember a few years ago, they had like the app where you can get put into a house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you do like a little survey where like who you are and all that stuff, and it chooses a house for you. I was actually chosen into Hufflepuff. So when the
Oh,
game
okay.
came out and you attached you linked your account, your character in the game went straight to that house that you had for the app.
Oh,
so
dude,
I
that's
went into
cool.
Hufflepuff. So yeah, I was a Hufflepuff.
Okay. That's awesome. I didn't realize you could link the accounts because I did not play the game. I do play video games, but I did not play that game. So man, okay.
Yeah, the
Dude, that's
game is
awesome.
good. If you're into Harry Potter, that game is super super fun.
Okay. I
Yeah.
might have to give it a spin. I'm kind of in a gap where like I don't have the newest FIFA and that's usually what I'll play. And I'm just kind of in a space where, man, I need to pick up a new game. Maybe that's what I'll move to. So you got nostalgia. You got it was like a storyline that was encapsulating and like brought you through, right? Those are the two reasons for Harry Potter. Okay.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. The world it created.
Okay. Dude, I'm gonna volley back with you on this. I gotta answer my own question on this one, right? Like if I asked
Yeah, I was
you,
gonna say, hey, what about you?
yeah, no, no, we're just gonna move to the next segment. No, dude, I'll give this one. I love the Jurassic Park series. I think that the
Ooh.
Jurassic Park series tell to your point about like the world that it builds, where dinosaurs are real. We brought them back, and then the storyline progresses. Right, like I went and saw the most recent one in the theaters, and I liked how we went from oh dinosaurs are cool. What if it was an amusement park to like hey man, we're actually going to talk about like ethics about why did you make this dinosaur that's a monster and I thought that was cool. Like that actually makes you think. Because I wonder how many movies you have where you're just like, oh, dinosaurs are really cool.
Yeah, so you like all of them.
I do. I think the stories like progressed super well. I do. I am nostalgic for the first one because I remember. So it came out. I think what 1996, 1993,
Mhm.
something like that. But I remember going to a movie theater, and this was the first movie theater. It was called the Silver Screen in Pensacola, Florida. And I remember going to Pensacola, and it was the first movie theater that didn't have like the rows where you actually could sit at a table and order food. Like that was the
Oh.
first time I experienced that. And as like a kid, that was cool. So I got like burger, fries, popcorn, soda, and I got to watch dinosaurs. Chef's kiss. That's a phenomenal like memory for me.
Yeah, and to talk about like CGI, I think all of Jurassic Park, including that 1996, the CGI looks a lot better than the Harry Potter franchise starting.
Yeah.
Like when I go back and like look at it, I'm like, this is not too bad. With like the T Rex and all that,
Mhm.
uh, destroying the city, like it looks pretty good. And it's like a mid '90s movie franchise.
Oh yeah. There's a whole series on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us and we were just kind of like in a show gap and we just picked it and the Jurassic Park episode was on. They talked about it a lot. It's worth watching if you actually like the CGI and you're into that sort of stuff. There are some moments where they were showing old footage and I was like, "Holy green screen Batman." Like it is very clear and you can see it now. But uh, that would be mine. I when I talk about like why I like something, as far as like Jurassic Park, I'm with you. There is a nostalgia hit, but I'm big on storyline. And like if you're gonna have a series, if you're gonna have like multiple releases, right? You got to progress the story. You got to move on from the first part because I see some movies as a nostalgia grab, like a cash grab that's totally like peaking on the idea that like you remember this when you were 7, like you're 41 now. It's the same. It's not the same, and that hurts, right? So
Yeah,
I like seeing progression in my storyline, but I'm with you about the world building and like all of that, right?
yeah. I think they
So
did a really good job in rebooting that whole franchise.
yeah,
Because it wasn't just a reboot. It was like they started fresh in the world that they built, right? Where they were like, we're gonna go in there and we're gonna rebuild Jurassic Park. Like, dude, this is crazy because it failed the first time, but you guys are gonna do it even better. I think that was a great way of keeping the world and not just saying that never happened like a reboot would. Like, oh, we're just gonna
yeah,
start from scratch. They kept that world, and I think that really helped them out. Getting all these old viewers that were nostalgic, but also all these new kids who love dinosaurs.
for sure. I wonder how many OSHA violations, just endless OSHA violations that Jurassic Park went through. That would have been a really cool like Jurassic Park 4. So we had a bunch of OSHA violations, and yeah, some kids died, and we got to move on. Like, here's a new park. I like that you said keeping it like not it wasn't it was a refresh, but it wasn't a reboot. And that actually like brings me to what I wanted to really talk about today. Uh, I know we did first day of school as our first podcast, right? And we talked about like priming and first day and procedures and all of that. And that gets into the question of assessment and rubrics, right? I teach primarily at the AP level. So there's all this work about rubrics and like how we're being graded, right? You and I are both sneakerheads though. So before we talk about like the classroom angle on it, you grade a release when it comes out. You got to decide whether you're going to buy that pair, just like you got to decide if you're going to go see Toy Story 5, right? What do you look in? What is on your rubric? What's a criterion that you have on your rubric for whether or not you're going to say a sneaker is good?
So, I mean, before anything, it has to really catch my attention and look good. If it doesn't look good, it's almost already dead. Like I'm not gonna like it. Um, the very next thing, even if it doesn't look good, sometimes this can save it. The very next thing I look for in a sneaker are, does it look good? The pictures from the top down. I told you about this. Like the top down picture where you're looking at your sneakers, that's one of my favorite shots on a sneaker because I can see how it'll look good on feet. And for me, it's really how it looks on me, not on somebody else. Um, and even if it doesn't have those things, or if it does have those things, um, the very next thing is, does it have a story and is it getting the story across? Because sometimes sneakers, almost all sneakers have a story, like, or at least they try to, right? Very few of them, especially now where we're in this collab age and all that stuff. Very few GRs, only GRs don't have stories, but just about everything else is gonna have some type of background. So there, most of them have a story, but can you get your story across and make it believable sometimes, right? Because sometimes they're just like throwing like colors at it, like, oh, this is about this. Like, dude, no, it's not. Like, sometimes you need a story, and you guys didn't have the story. You guys just thought the colors were gonna hit, and now they didn't hit, and now you need to backtrack into the story. So it's really about how it looks, how well it looks. Does it captivate me? And the second thing is there a story behind that I can kind of get behind? Like if a shoe is bad but the story is amazing, I really don't care anymore about, does it look good? Like
Ooh,
for me,
okay.
the rubric isn't like a overall. For me, it's like if it hits one of these things, I probably would buy it, right? It doesn't necessarily have to look the best, but if it has a great story, I'll probably still buy it. Um, and the very last thing, and this is something that you probably, it's gonna come out of left field, is who made the shoe?
Ooh, okay.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
if it's somebody, like, I'm gonna be honest, if it's a person of color from LA, I honestly do not care about the other two things anymore. I'm probably gonna try to support as much as I can.
Okay.
Um, that's definitely something I look into now. I know a lot of people don't, but I do because I really want to empower my communities by either wearing their stuff or possibly just reposting and resharing these things. I really, really like to support my local community, especially LA, and these shoe designers that are local. Uh, they don't know that I'm here trying to support them yet, but I really do care who made it, and who designed it, uh, and who's getting that voice, because I really want people from the community to have a voice. And if Nike or Adidas or Asics or whoever it is giving these people voices, I'm going to try to support them. And it's very back and forth with who does it, right? Like even like an Action Bronson from New Balance. I think that is somebody who, he's not. I mean, he's European, but he has a voice for New York, and I really want to support that. So things like that really go into effect when it comes to me buying a shoe.
Okay. So if I'm hearing you right, just as like a recap, right? So you said it's got to look good. I like you said the toe down look because that's what you see, like you said. So that's important. I think that's cool. I like that. So you said looks, you said story, but then who makes it? And you said something about your rubric. It's not like grading it all together. It's not holistic. It's like, oh, if it has this thing, I'm good.
Yeah, if it looks good, we're good. If not, I'll go on to the next thing. Like there's been points where a shoe doesn't look good, and I find out it's made by some guy who I really really like his message and who he is as a person, and at that point I don't care. I'm just gonna buy it to support the shoe and the designer. I'll figure out how to wear it some other time. But that in itself is really something that I kind of, they always say talk with your wallet, right?
Yeah,
And that's how I do it. But I mean, I understand that not everyone's gonna have, the exposable income to just buy something, but that's also why I said sometimes I'll just share a story, or like, I really like this, I really like the person behind this, and that's something that is also valuable, right?
for sure. I really like that, the power of the purse, like, vote with your wallet or work, with your wallet as far as, like, "Oh, I'm gonna support this thing. Maybe there will be more of it," right? That
Correct. Yeah.
designer that
That's my big thing. Sometimes people don't get into how they need to design things because either they were pressured by the brand, or maybe they just didn't fully understand the design concept. And if they don't sell out their first shoe or whatever it is, they probably won't get a second one, right? So I really want them to succeed if it's somebody that I trust and and want to see more of, right? Not a one and done person. And I think a lot of the times the community has understood these things, but it's something that I like doing and that I really would be part of my rubric.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of support, for those that watching, you can see that I'm wearing an LA Dodgers hat as a Houston guy, which I'm confident I'm going to catch some grief for. But speaking of support, this was the hat you designed, and we did not intend on wearing the same hat today. Actually, when we both logged in, we're like, oh, this is awkward. One of us has got to change. It's like wearing the same outfit the whole way. But no, I love that you talk about support, right? Like I bought this hat and have worn it to work, not during school because our dress code, of course, has a little bit different at the last site I was at. But I've worn it on teacher professional development days, and there were, it's known that I'm an Astros guy. Like I had a whole Astros flag in my classroom, and and man, I caught some grief. People are like, "Wait, are you turning? No, 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 no." And I would tell your story, and people are like, "Oh, that's really cool. Can I buy one too?" And then I'm like, well, because I know you had talked about it sold out, it was done, and
Yeah,
so I'll just have to, keep some people up on your next order when you do another one. But I'm just letting you know
yeah,
that you have some people willing to turn colors because of support, which I think is an awesome piece of a rubric to have on why you do something, right? Like why you
yeah,
bring new money in.
and just to to piggyback off that, I'm not a Dodger fan. I'm just a LA guy, right? So I myself, like, when I made this hat, it encapsulated the side I'm at. So the colors blue and orange are the school colors. Like, that's what I did. And just to go off of my rubric, a lot of people don't like the colors of the hat,
Oh,
but they
really?
like the story behind the teacher, just like you said, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, some people don't even like that, but they like me and they're going to support me. So that is somewhere where I kind of got my rubric from as well. It's not just something that I kind of just made up. It's something that people I can see other people doing, and it's something that I kind of want to replicate.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, I liked the story, and I'm willing to put my credibility as an Astros fan aside to wear this out in public down here. I'm probably going to get jumped or canceled down here for all this. I got to figure out. This hat is coming to Spain. I'll just let you know. So it's coming to Spain. It's gonna see some time. But no, I do love the support part, right? Like you talk about, you want to support creators and designers and artists and people that you vibe with their vision, and I vibe with your vision on the hat. Just showing it off again. I have Jay's pin up in there too. I support Jay's Fire Fridays. If you guys are listening, give him a follow for sure and look at his story. But yeah, the deeper I've gotten into knowing you and some other people in the space, I have started to find people that I actually want to support with my wallet. It's not
Yeah, you
just
want them to
buying.
succeed.
Yeah, I want them to do more work, and I want them to do more for the communities that they're representing. So I like that, and getting onto the social media side of things has really taught me that you can meet people in this way, right? You're not just a consumer. Hey, here's my money. I want this product. So I love that, and I like that that's part of your rubric. I did not even consider that when I was making my rubric, but I should. And maybe it connects with story because story is number one on my rubric. Story is
That's what I
number
said.
one.
That's why when
Yeah.
I said it, I was like, you probably won't, like, really, this probably isn't a thing, because some people think about things from a marketing, more of like a consumer, right? Like,
Mhm.
from one angle, and I'm like thinking about it from a different side. So I knew it was going to be a little out of left field, just
No,
to
but I
keep the
mean,
baseball fun.
but it makes sense. Yeah, keeping the baseball metaphor there. No, it makes sense though. To me, so story is my top, but I guess you can put what you were just talking about, like supporting the people you want to within that story, right? Um, I think if we're doing designers or at least collaborators, right? I have probably more from Unheard of brand, the Phil, and what he does up there. I have probably more from all of his collections and his collabs than any other single collaborator because I do like the story. And I do want him and the brand to do more and to succeed. But I've never really considered a lot of other creators because to me, I vibe with your first part on the rubric. It's got to look good, right? Story is super important to me first because I want to be able to vibe to the story and see the point behind it. It can't just be like a color on a shoe. That's weird to me, right? Like, hey, here's a new Jordan 1 low, and we're going to slap some blue and green on it. I, sure, like it'll match so much of my wardrobe, but like, what's the point?
Yeah, Phil's one of the prime examples for mine. Piggy Runner, pink and red.
Hmm.
I really wasn't vibing with it at all. Uh, but Phil is such a phenomenal person. A lot of you guys were supporting him, and he was kind of supporting you guys as well by by helping you guys secure a pair to the point where I was like, no, I want to support. Is there a way I can get a pair, possibly buy one to like help you sell out? And he said, yeah. And I mean, the shoe, I really didn't think anything of it, but him supporting the teacher community, this teacher sneaker community, and you guys, wanting to support him made me want to support him. When the second one came out, I was like, dude, I don't care what color I get. I honestly don't. I like, there wasn't a color where I like. Well, there was a color that I like. I like the orange one because it's school colors. Um, but as far as that, I was like, dude, I don't care which one. As long as I get one. And even then, if it sold out in my cart, I knew that that was even better because that meant he sold out his pair. But for me, I was like, I'm gonna go try to buy one so that I can help him sell the shoe, and that's because he's a phenomenal person. At this point, I really don't care what he comes out with. He could come out with the ugliest shoe, and I'll still be out there buying one, just because I've never met him, but I know people who have, and he's a genuine person. No one says anything negative about him. He's helping his community, and I want to help as well.
For sure. I fell in love with the story aspect of stuff with the Grandma's Couch release, and that to me, like it hit home for me because my grandmother had that basic same type of couch, right? Like the flower overlays and the plastic on it. Like I fell in love with that story, and I thought that was really cool. And the more that I learned about like his brand and his story, it did make me want to purchase more of his stuff and like to actually have those shoes because yeah, it's telling a cool story. Yeah, and it actually really looks good too. So it hits both fronts for me. It hits both parts of my rubric. Getting an opportunity to go up there for some releases and seeing behind the scenes and seeing him, to your point, as a person, gave me that kind of vision. I'm newer in that aspect of the space than some people that we know, and for me, that was really one of the things of like, okay, I if I see a sneaker drop, I will actually go and check their socials to see if they have it first or if they have it at all. And I would rather buy through them. I would like to support the smaller skate shops. And I've got a couple skate shops that I like to support as well. But I know that brand really well now. And so I'm with you on it. I can see story and wanting to connect to that creator and that artist being really high on the rubric for me. Story's got to be first. Then I think the look of it. I think you've seen my collection, and anybody who has seen my page knows I love bright colors. Uh, and I mean, we talked about this last week, the duck boots. Like, I want attention. I guess it's I wanted to be a sentence starter, right, or a conversation starter, if nothing else. And those boots, like we said, massive conversation starter. But the grandma's couch, to that point, I think that might be my favorite shoe in my collection because a my wife and I both have a pair, so we can match, which I think is cool. But also, it is a conversation starter. People look at it and like, oh, that's a not really loud necessarily, but like I have the teal pair and my wife has the purple pair from the first drop. And so it's a
Yeah,
loud shoe in the sense that like not a lot of people are rocking bright red and purple or bright red and teal. And then to your point about the Piggy Runner, I have the blue pair. That is a really bright pair. And so I like the conversation starters. For me, I need the bright colors and like the wilder stuff to be on there. And then
yeah. The
last, oh, go ahead.
the grandma's couch when that came out. Um, I didn't resonate with the story as much as you did, but I did try to buy that shoe just because I wanted to support, and I couldn't get it. So what happened was I was just really happy for him to succeed and to be able to sell out that shoe, and that shoe is a phenomenal shoe. I wanted the purple pair, and
Okay.
I just didn't get it because it just was sold out. The pink pair is another pair I really liked, and that one I probably could have bought, but I felt like that one was intentionally made for the females. I think it came out during Mother's Day, if I remember, or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
And I kind of didn't want to like wear a shoe that was intended for females. Honestly, I don't care most of the time, but I respect his vision so much that I was like, no, I'm gonna like that. That's intended for somebody to wear. Um, so it wasn't like I didn't know about him before. It was because I know people are gonna be like, oh, Piggy Runner, that's when you got into him. I knew
Yeah.
him. Yeah, I had always been trying to support him, but it wasn't until the Piggy Runner came out that I really saw a different aspect of him because that really incorporated a lot of teachers at that point.
Yeah. So a small story on the original Grandma's Couch run when it dropped. You talk about trying to get the purple pair, right? That was the pair I wanted because I'm an LSU grad, and so I have way too many purple shoes. If it's got purple in it, then I'm already kind of interested because I
Hmm.
can find a way to match it with any of my school color stuff, right? And I had seen the drop and I had waited for it and I was like, okay, cool. And I think it dropped during summer. It was dropping during a break because I remember I was playing video games and refreshing my phone to see when it drops. And so my wife had said, that is the one pair of sneakers I want this year. Like, if you can get that pair for me, the purple pair, then that's great. That's what I want. And so I was in the cart. I had hers and I had mine in the cart. It was like, I think if it dropped at 10 o'clock, it was 10:01. I was like, oh yeah, I have this. I'm done. And I guess I didn't load my PayPal correctly. And so it made me reset my credit card information. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm typing everything in and it finally goes through and it was like, the size 8.5 is sold out. I was like, oh God. So I just hit send to get my wife's pair because I was like, bro, if I've learned one thing, happy wife, happy life, like I have to get this
Hmm.
pair for her. And I thought about it and I was like, okay, so I secured that pair and I was like, wait, I'm gonna go back and look and see if the blue one's available. And so I went back and looked. Again, it's like 10:03 at this point, and I was like, "Oh, it's available. That's cool. I'll take the blue pair because then we can coordinate. We can actually build this up." And it is the first pair that we ever coordinated fits with. So I was able to double it back on that one. But then I've gotten to know Phil through DM and through going up to Cincinnati, and so that was kind of like my beginning. But yeah, I wanted the purple pair too because again, the look and the story, it was it, man. But
Hmm.
I, my third and final criteria. Now I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to rubrics. Like I like to kind of kind of score it out and be like, well, does this outrank a shoe I already have, right? And I'm willing to wear stuff that's loud and uncomfortable, but I do think comfort matters because I'm on my feet when I'm teaching. I'm on my feet all day, and like I have a bunch of pairs of LeBrons from back in the day. I like wearing them because they're loud, but bro, those are so uncomfortable for an 8-hour day. Like for an 8 hour, at one point, like I remember even this year, I was like, guys, I'm 41 and I wore the wrong pair of shoes today. I know y'all like it. I'm just going to teach from my front desk because I have a desk in the front of my. I was like, I'm just going to teach from the front, and they're like, that's fine. So I just sat down and ran court from there. But comfort's got to be there, and that's where like I've jumped into kind of some ASICs a little bit more. I know that's trend riding for sure. But at 41, if I'm on my feet all day, a pair of ASICs is going to really help me, or New Balance or Saucony. I don't know. Does comfort fit into your equation at all, or are you just balling out?
No, yeah, they have to be comfortable. If I'm gonna wear them, they have to be comfortable. Like I'll still buy a shoe to support, and maybe wear it sometimes when I know I'm not gonna really, be on my feet. Like I probably won't wear it to school at that point. But if it's a shoe that I'm gonna rock, it's got to be comfortable. Like there are shoes that I've worn once and I haven't worn since because like
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm not going to do that to myself. I have really bad feet because of soccer and like nerves and all that stuff and getting stepped on. So one of the reasons I became a sneakerhead was because I had bad feet.
Oh, okay.
because I had foot injuries. So I wanted comfortable shoes. So it'd be hard for me to say no, comfort doesn't play a factor when I really got into this to be comfortable. So yeah, it definitely plays a factor, but not in the sense of like buying a shoe, more in the sense of how good a shoe really is at that.
And that decides for me if it's gonna hit my rotation a little bit more often. Like, the last
Yeah,
2 years, I've not repeated a pair, within the school year. But as I look back at them a couple days ago, I was actually coming across that video for this year, and then I came across the one from the year before. Oh, there's definitely some sneakers that have gotten worn both years, and they got worn kind of at the same time of year. So I guess I have like I'm more uncomfortable. I'm willing to put up with a lack of comfort at the beginning of the year, I guess, for the heat, you know. Uh,
yeah, and
but
you can tell that I like comfort because I really my biggest brands are pretty much probably New Balance, uh, Asics, and like all these other brands that are really comfort first, right? Um, so I know I'm in the comfort area.
Yeah. Well, and the reason that we're wanting to do rubrics is next week. So for those that are listening in, next week, Guzman and I are going to blind rate based on our rubrics. We're going to toss out some silhouettes and some specific colorways and not quite S tier, A tier type ranks, but we're definitely going to grade a release because I'm interested as to where some sneakers and some sneaker silhouettes end up on your list as to like would you wear it as a general silhouette, and then would you wear it if, like you said, it's a story that you vibe to, right? So I
Yeah.
think that'll be a fun episode for a fun part of next week's episode. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it's gonna be fun. I'm hoping I get either me or you get gotcha'd, right? With the
Oh, for
shoe
sure.
that we really already own possibly, and that we say we wouldn't wear that shoe, because I think that would be funny. But we'll see if we can get each other on those.
Oh, for sure. I know I'm not able to drop the duck boots on you. I already know how you feel about those, and so we already know where that one's headed.
Hey, that
Uh,
got split reactions though.
yeah, I was surprised.
I did not know so many people would kind of rock with the boots, but I think they were just being very combative and wanted to argue. But um, I don't. I thought it was pretty subjective, but I guess not.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, it brings up a question. So, uh, I recently so here's the context of the next thing that I wanted to talk about. So I recently finished grading AP exams for College Board, and there's a whole rubric that goes into advanced placement test grading. And so the question as an AP teacher that I am constantly hit with, and in the high school community and AP community, it's always this question of uh, do you teach to the test? Do you teach to the rubrics? Or are you doing something for the love of the game, right? Are you trying to teach a love of reading? Are you trying to get that kid hooked on Harry Potter, for example, so he reads more? Or are you going to teach directly to the test as to how to do this type of essay? And so I balance back and forth. And it was kind of the question about rubrics with sneakers, because like we'll ask this question again toward the end and we'll make it sneaker related. But I got to ask you, what is the standardized testing situation out in California and for your grade level? Do you guys have standardized tests that you got to prepare your students for? And if so, how do you go about doing it? Do you teach to the test? What's the story?
Yeah, so we have a standardized test. We did a lot of testing this year. This school side, we probably did the most testing I had ever done. Like in terms of assessments, pre-test, post-test, like everything, right? So they really seem like they're trying to prepare the kids for testing. Um, However, I my philosophy, especially, I always got to bring it up, right? As a special education teacher, um, my kids are kind of behind. So it is, I think naturally some teachers would say, well, you just teach to the test, right? And then that way they can magically, I think that is completely wrong. Um, you cannot teach to a test when kids don't know how to do anything before it, right? Like, how am I going to teach uh, triple digit multiplication when they don't know how to add triple digits?
Fair.
How? How do I do that? I can't. My thoughts, and this is really at my core, is I'm going to teach them how to, in math, how to manipulate numbers. We're going to do a lot of counting collections, and if they bomb the test, they bomb the test. Because in reality, with my kids, they have IEPs, they have individualized education plans, where they are working towards a goal that me and their families and everyone around them has created. So as long as they are reaching these goals, they are doing well. So it is a little bit different in the sense of like standardized tests. Because for me, like the standardized test and my kids is like, well, they're hitting these goals, right? Now, luckily, I've been blessed and I am a good enough educator to where I get these kids to believe in themselves. And they have done really well on these tests. And I don't know if that's me, the teacher, whoever else it is, but I think it goes back to teaching them how to prepare for these tests, how to not be stressed while they're taking them, how to take breaks during them, how to kind of decompress. You know, sometimes I'll have them take full attention for 10 minutes and I'll give them 5 minutes of break, right? So those are all the factors. But as far as teaching to a test, I think most of the people who do that, even if you are successful, those kids are going to go on to the next grade and the teacher's going to be like, well, what happened? Um, I think getting building blocks is more important than teaching to test. And that's just how I've always viewed education. I don't know if you're a little bit different. You can let me know.
Yeah, so I like first of all, I love that you talked about the building blocks because of your specific context, right? If you have students that in your words are a little bit behind, then they can't do the thing that's ready for that. They're being tested on something that they don't know how to do yet. And so
Hmm.
how do you get them to that point, to where perhaps if they're not passing the test the first time, then they're passing it the next time because they now have that foundational skill? Because I'm not sure how California works, but do you, if your students do not pass the standardized test to move to the next grade for whatever, right, grade level or however you guys have it, do they get another chance later on?
To pass the test or
Yes.
to, yeah, well, they'll do the next grade level test. So I
Okay.
think you're speaking to it from a high school perspective, and in elementary going into middle school, they'll just take the next year's test. So at the next year's standards and grade level.
Okay.
So they kind of just keep going. That's something we could talk about later. Something I really don't agree upon. I think that's not in the best interest of the students to kind of just keep them going, but
Yeah.
that's kind of where we're at. It's a little bit more political, but yeah. So they would take the test. If they bomb it, they would go on to the next grade, and they would take that grade's test. Um, and then they would see if they've had any growth at that point. So it
Yeah.
would continue. It usually continuously goes until you're like 11th, 10th grade.
Yeah, I like how you said it's kind of a political question when they are moving to the next grade level and they haven't passed the previous test, but they have to be expected to pass the next one, right? And in,
Correct.
in that
Yeah.
in that circumstance, yeah, it feels like the standardized testing model doesn't work. It does not helping the student at that point. The only way that works, and you've talked openly on your page about your iReady scores and where your kids are, which is awesome, and I love that. They're kind of getting like an on ramp to an interstate where they're moving. So I, I can guess that your students have a really good success rate of not just making up ground right now, but like being catching up and potentially growing beyond those goals. And that's actually like the idea. So that's the benefit of teaching skills and breaking it
Correct.
down from
Yeah.
a skill side, right?
And that's also the benefits of being an special education teacher. That we're doing something not we're not being like we're not doing something different, but our students are we're working on growth, and any type of growth is integral. So like getting these high growth potential, and when you do test really well where they're like 2 grades above, that's huge,
Yeah.
because the only way to catch up at that point is you can't just move one grade level. One grade level still puts you four behind, right?
Yeah.
You got to make some crazy leaps. So I am very, very proud of those kids that were able to do that. And I think it was just me being petty and kind of posting it out because somebody called me out on those scores. So I did have that in the back of my memory. And I'm gonna be honest, I when we were doing the iReady stuff, I was really going to work with those kids because I was like, no, I'm gonna post these scores because I don't know why I should. I shouldn't have to.
Yeah,
But I want people to know that like I'm not just there kind of, taking pictures and doing videos and stuff. Like I'm there to help these kids. And that was my one time that I got to kind of show that. Um, I know if people see it in a vacuum, they're like, look at this guy, like, so self conscious. But people had been knocking me throughout the whole year to the point where I was like, let me just get everyone back in one fell swoop.
for sure. No, and I actually I really liked that you made that reel and that content because I look at our scores from my students and I look at it like a coach does with a win, right? Like to me on an AP test day, and I know it is different from uh, with AP tests and versus maybe a star test, which is a different run here in Texas, and I'm sure proficiencies over in California. What do you guys call y'all's standardized test to move from grade to grade? Does it have an acronym?
uh, Smarter balance assessment, the ESBA.
Okay, so comparing that because I just run with Star, and when I was in Nevada, it was called proficiency tests. But for AP, I treat test day like a game day. And being a coach or former coach, at least, I always look at it as like this is your chance to shine. And so I like when my students come back successful because it means that we did something well together. And to a degree, it does kind of say something about us as teachers that, like, okay, well, I helped get these guys over the line. Like, there's something we did personally, but also that we did together. So I actually am a little bit more on the arrogant side of it, if you will, where I'm like, no, I want to post our numbers. I want to talk about how well my students did and where we can grow because that should be something that you aspire to, right?
Yeah, I think I was the same way. Like I am on the arrogant side, but I would never post that. It wasn't until people were like, "Dude, are you just over there taking pictures, or like you just making videos in your class?" And I was doing those during my lunch. I wasn't even eating because I wanted to make content, right? Like I was using my time to what I wanted to do. But people were kind of poking and poking, and I think that as an educator at this point, especially when we go back and talk about Tracy Morgan and all that stuff, and
Yeah,
and reaching your peak, I like we said, our peak isn't really our peak. It's what we can get other people to do, and that is why I posted that to let people know, like, no, look at what I'm able to do with these kids, and in special education, they're always going to grow. I had somebody post this, like, because I have special education, they're gonna grow, they're gonna get these high leaps because they are so low. That's just the nature of it. However, doing double that is still something to be proud of. And I'm not gonna get on my kids because they have a special need and say, oh well, you should have grown. Like
for sure. I mean, which okay, there's so many things there, right? Two things: people stay mad at teachers for using their lunchtime to do things of their choice, right? And people stay mad. That's a whole different conversation. I'm blown away that the public stays mad for some reason, or people on the internet, maybe not the public. The people, they stay mad at what teachers do if we do anything that brings us joy or has fun. So that's a whole sidebar, and I really have a problem with that on a high level. But the second thing is like if you think about it from professional sports perspectives, right? If a football team, an NFL team, wins 3 games the year before, that would be way behind the curve, right? They draft people, they do the things necessary the next year, they sign the right free agents, they win some games, they triple their win total to 9, right? You're still not in the playoffs, but you tripled your output. We put those teams on lists to watch out for the next season. Like, oh, they're really doing something right. So I don't understand why that would be a case in your world where, oh, well, they're supposed to grow, but they did. And that's the point, right?
that's what I
Yeah. I
that's
mean,
it. I'm taking growth as like if I can do this twice, we are where we need to be.
for
You
sure.
know?
And in the AP world where it's kind of pass or fail on that exam, I actually think about it as a growth scenario because I tend to track my students' writing all year long. I keep track of those scores and their grades and confidence with writers, confidence with especially with younger kids. Like you've got to do with it on a high level. But I have very ambitious kids in an AP class who they have imposter syndrome. We talked about imposter syndrome on the last pod, but for them, they're like, I don't feel like I'm doing well. And I can show them the data and be like, no, but you really are. Like this was the first essay you wrote and it was mid. I didn't tell you it was mid because then you'd have just quit, but it was mid. And let's be blunt, where you are now is light years. You're ready for this test and you just don't see it because you're in it in the moment. That's where, to the Tracy Morgan thing, I think people like you and I have that superpower to be able to see the big picture, right? And I asked about teaching to the test because I am a big believer that the test carries a lot of weight. It's not the reason in an AP class that you take a class, but it kind of decides like the success of your year. And I constantly will talk about this with other teachers where, oh, the conversation around, oh, the test doesn't matter, the test doesn't matter. I disagree. I think the test does matter. And I think to your point about teaching test take strategies, how to regulate, how to manage time, that's where I quote teach to the test is I can tell you that when I take on a student at the beginning of the year and I'm watching how they write and I'm watching how they manage their time on an in class essay, if they've never been taught how to regulate or manage their time, it shows. That's where I think that the system that I ran kind of benefits. Because again, I'm thinking of it like a coach. Like, hey, you have 10 minutes to be in this space of the writing. You've got the next 10, you should be here. And we regulate it. Like, there's a lot of time trials. And I know if my students are listening to this right now, they'll know our time writes are intense. And it's so that when they get to the test day and they go write 3 essays in 2 hours and 15 minutes, they're going to leave that test and be like, well, that was just like a day in Alidor's class. Like, that wasn't hard.
Yeah, it's almost like running a marathon. You're starting at the beginning of the year running 2 miles, and then at the end you're getting close to those 26. But you're there because you've done all the work, and then when you do finally run the marathon, you're like, oh, I've already done this twice. I've
Yeah.
already done this a bunch of times. This is just another day now.
And I have friends whose kids are at the high school level now. This just shows my age, right? And they will tell me that like their freshman or their sophomore took a class, an AP test, and they're coming back with mixed feelings because oh, they didn't get to a certain question or they didn't get to devote the time to the questions. They didn't manage their time well. And I will ask that question of like, well, how does the instructor, how does the teacher manage test taking strategies? Like, do they actually put them through time trials? And usually that's a mixed bag. And so I am a big believer in teaching to the test because I think if the test matters, if you have to take it, then you've got to prep for it. You've got to do things that are specific to that test, right? Otherwise, you won't see the growth that you see, right? It'll
Yeah,
be a little bit lesser.
and I think there's a little bit of a difference in terms of like that AP test because that's a very high stake test, and those kids are taking it because they're trying to hit that next level.
Yeah.
Um, for my test, like the California Smarter Balance assessment at the end of the year, I don't think it's to that level where it's like, you know, it's not as high stakes as yours. So I definitely see the difference in like, yeah, you should be understanding all these strategies at that point. Those students should know how to manage their time because this is a time based test. Like that is one of the strategies you need to have in order to be a good test taker. And to that point, there's still tests I've taken as I've gotten older where they are time based. And if you're not good at taking tests because your teachers weren't, holding you accountable and doing time trials, you're not going to succeed outside of the classroom. And I have a lot of colleagues that they go and try to take these tests and they're just like, it's too hard. And not enough time. Well, it's because you don't know how to manage your time, right? And that's just me being honest, right? But it's through educating and doing all these things that you understand how to do them, and they're going to benefit you in the long run. Because, like you said, we see big picture,
Yeah.
right? I, I even if my students weren't hitting these lofty goals, I'm still doing something that's bettering them in the future, right? I'm still
Mhm.
holding them accountable enough to where next year you're going to hit these goals too. Um, but yeah, the difference between an AP test and special education elementary is it's kind of a big chasm, right?
For sure. And it's grade levels. It's a grade level situation. I'm teaching 11th and 12th graders, and you're in what, fifth grade? You said
Yeah, I'm third through fifth. Yeah,
third through fifth. So it is light years of difference in terms of the age and the readiness. But I do think, to our point, if you can teach the skills and then move forward with, hey, when you get to test day, this is what you got to do, and actually make that a part of it. I don't consider that teaching to the test, but I think that we're in a day and age where that's it's not quite an insult. in my opinion, I always take it as a compliment because I prepped my kids for a thing they needed to do. And if I
Yeah, I
did it
think
right, go ahead.
yours
Sorry.
is more yours is more prepping to the test as opposed to teaching to the test. I
Yeah.
think when people say teaching to the test, that means they know what's on the test and they teach those things, right? Like they know that there's going to be a mineral question. So they haven't done any teaching of minerals throughout the year, and all of a sudden the test is coming and you're doing a lesson on minerals because you know it's going to be on there.
Oh
I
yeah.
think what you're doing is preparing because that is the reality of a test, of that test, is that it's going to be timed, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to actually teaching the content, which is what people say when you're teaching to a test. It's more about the content. I think. I hope I'm wrong. I'm right. Because that's the way I look at it. Is teaching to a test is teaching the content that is on the test, as opposed to preparing them, which is what I think you're doing and why your kids succeed.
For sure. And our AP numbers come out on Monday actually. And so we'll see how we did this year. I have a lot of faith in in my boys and girls in the class, my students. I'm always excited every year for it because, like I said, it's our Super Bowl. We've already played the game. It's just in a delay. We just don't get to see the score for like 2 months, which I guess is
Yeah,
not like the Super Bowl. But uh, sometimes by the end of the first quarter when the Super Bowl is happening, you're like, all right, this is done. So, but no, I'm excited for it, and like I said, I always see it as a compliment. Although I think some teachers and some people mean it as an insult in the education world. So, um, but to segue it back to sneakers and kind of bring us to a closeout, this is a great question for you with rubrics, right? And teaching to a test or building skills, right? Some sneaker releases, in my opinion, are built in a lab. They're built specifically to sell out based on hype, right? They are designed, they're trend hopping, they hit the rubric and they sell out. I asked earlier, is it ethical or moral or good pedagogy to teach to the test? And we talked about this already. Do you think it's a good thing? First of all, do you agree with me that sneakers can be built sometimes just to sell out? And secondly, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, they obviously can. Look at what like everything Travis Scott does at this point, right? Like
Yeah.
that sneaker is the same sneaker over and over. It really just depends on if you like the color or not. And like he's gone back and forth doing these like experimental ones, but when those don't hit, what does he go back to? Back to the lab, right to the rubric. This one
Yeah.
got straight A's. Let me go back to that one. So he goes back to the low. The low is his shoe. The low is the one that's built in the lab at this point, right? It's tried, tested, and it hits all those rubric components for most people, right? I think for most people, one of the rubric is going to be is it hype, right? Is it worth more than I'm buying it for, right? Is going to be on that rubric. What is the existential value of this thing? And I think that's what they do. They build that in the lab. And is it ethical? I don't want to say it's not ethical because it's a shoe. Like it's hard to breed ethics, but I really think it's unauthentic, right? I don't want to say it's not ethical, but it's definitely not authentic. At this point, that shoe's been tried and true, and we need to get to another one. Um, how many lows has he made compared to highs? It's not even
Ooh,
like in the same realm, right?
yeah, that's
Because
true.
obviously the low one is the one that hits,
That's
right?
true. Okay.
But yeah, I fully agree that they know what's been marketed and researched, and they know what's gonna hit. And whenever they try to go a little bit too experimental with the what is it, the T Rex, Cactus Jack T Rex, whenever
Yeah.
they try to do something too experimental and it
Yeah.
doesn't hit, they go right back to what does. So I agree with you.
I like how you said it's not about ethics because it's a sneaker, and sometimes we get too deep. I think in the community when we're like really bummed out or really we feel some type of way about a sneaker. Some people can get in their feelings really heavy, and I've been guilty of that on some occasion where I'm like, I don't like the shoe, and I feel like insulted by the fact that they would release this, but I know it's not for me, right? The back to the lab thing, yeah, it's fair. Travis Scott's a great example. To keep it with Jordan Brand, I'm gonna say a shoe that I don't like that I think was literally built to sell, and but I know a lot of people like it. And to me, it's the Nigel Jordan 4 brick by brick. To me, I like the rollout. The story's a little shallow, but I feel like they took Jordan 4, popular skater, and we're like, don't buy it. People will buy it.
BMXer.
Yeah, sure. And see, there you go. That's why it's not for me, right? And I think that is the shoe that is built in the lab, right? And maybe because we've named two Jordan brands, maybe Jordan brand is like the worst at it, but I would say they're not. I think Adidas does a lot of the same stuff. I think sometimes they're just like, look, here's you another Samba colorway with three different stripes. It's still a white Samba with three different. This one's teal instead of black. Oh, okay, cool. Like built in a
Did you
lab.
say the brick by brick or the red or the
Yeah,
new one?
the
Brick
red.
after brick, the red one.
So I think I said the brick by brick, although I think both of them were built in a lab. I think the latter one, the brick after brick, is absolutely a cash grab. I think it's absolutely a cash grab because it's just a distressed or aged fire red.
100%.
And so
Still love it. Still love it.
for sure.
You
And look,
you are 100% right.
it's not for me. Although I will say I did try to get the brick by brick because I fell victim to the hype where I was just like, everybody wants it, everybody's got it. I'm gonna be a hype beast and go after it. But when I didn't get it, I was like, I'm not sad I didn't get it because to me it's just almost a color copy and paste Jordan 4. And I don't know what makes a Jordan 4 hit versus not unless it's literally got that carry from an influencer or a BMXer or somebody who's in the cultural zeitgeist. And so I that's mine. I think like you said, it's inauthentic. I like the idea of inauthentic because ethics and sneakers. I was originally going to say it's unethical, but we're talking sneakers. This is a thing that you don't have to buy. So
Yeah,
ethics are a
yeah.
total different story here. So
Yeah, for me, I completely get it. You're probably 100% right. They're just like, hey, the first one did so well. Let's do a second one so we can get even more. But it hits two of my rubrics, and
yeah. And so there you go, right? Uh, if it
it
hits
only needs
two
to
of
hit
your
one.
rubrics, that's fair. And that's why I went after it. Is it only really hit one, but I wasn't hurt that I didn't get it because I was like, well, to be fair, it only looks cool. Like it's only a color that's striking because I have Jordan 4s. I don't need that one. And I actually don't even need a bright Jordan 4 because I have the Lightning 4s. That's bright. That's a pair that like I have to break out only on certain fits because that's a yellow that only hits a certain way. So
Yep,
yeah, I don't know. I get frustrated when brands like, oh, the peasants will buy it. Here's a Jordan 4.
the peasants.
Because sometimes that's how it feels, right? Is to me, it's like, oh, they're, you're gonna buy it, do it anyway. And I wonder the Venn diagram of people who own the brick by brick and people who own the brick after brick. I wonder if that's just a flat circle because I feel like
it's,
I
it's
feel
going to
like
be when I get my pair.
because I do feel like when somebody bought the first one, they're like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna get the second one. So, but
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right. But for me, and I know for other people, I think Nigel's another person who I personally just want to support. And I do like some of the things he's doing. I think he's not in the realm of a Phil from Unheard of because he's not really at ground level anymore. He's a little bit more,
yeah, he's kind of made it.
he's been successful for a lot of his life, but I think some of the stories and him coming from where he's coming from does resonate with a lot of the culture in the community. And I think that's what resonates with me. And I definitely want him to succeed even more because I think his is a voice we need. But I'm 100% with you. He made that second shoe because the first one was successful. That's it. But
Yeah.
I'm not even knocking on it because I love.
I was gonna say yours is about to show up, right?
Yeah. I can't wait for to get mine. So, but I just think that people really mess with somebody like that. And when he started, especially with the Jordan 1, I know he had a few shoes before that, but when he came out with the Jordan 1, the multicolored one with the like the sail colorway, um, I think that his voice as a designer really resonated in the culture when it was really at its like most saturated, right?
Mm,
It was really like everyone was getting the same shoe over and over, and it wasn't like an iteration. And him just being that difference kind of propelled him to to where he's at now.
yeah, that's fair. Well, there you go. The big questions, the burning questions in education and sneakers. All right. Is it right to teach to a rubric and teach to a test? And apparently the Jordan 4 just needs all different shades and Nigel to sell. So
Hey,
I
that blue pair is crazy.
oh, for
The fake
sure.
one? The fake
Yes.
one?
Oh man. I'm waiting for the third one. There will be a third one. There has to be.
Would you buy a purple pair? All purple pair?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? I would absolutely buy that. You know what? But here's the thing. It would be exactly like the brick by brick. I would be like, I really want that shoe. And if I didn't get it, I'd be like, all right, cool. I mean, I didn't want it anyway. Like I would my coach used to call it loser's limp whenever you get beat in a race. I would absolutely have loser's limp to an all purple brick by brick or brick after brick, whatever we're going to call it at this point. Like I feel like at this point it's just the same thing, but it's fine. So, but you're not wrong. I would absolutely run after an all purple Jordan 4 with the texture and everything for sure. So, well, next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have the blind ranking on our rubrics that we've set up. I'm going to have 3 silhouettes and then 3 specific colorways from those silhouettes. So 3 specific releases. So I'll let you grade, the silhouette overall, and then I'll hit you with one that maybe gets you feeling some type of way. So that way you can be like, no, trash. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I get you to say, like you said, maybe I got you. Maybe it's a pair you have in your collection you forgot about. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Hopefully not. I don't want anyone coming at me already.
Well,
Second
you have,
episode talking about like this dude's fake.
well, you have a good shot of getting me because most of my sneakers, with the exception of like the 15 I'm bringing to Spain, are all in storage. So at this point, I have forgotten what I own. So if you drop something, I might be like, yeah, that shoe's trash, and then realize, oh yeah, that's in tote number 7. That really sucks. So that's my luck. But thanks everybody for listening. This has been James Jalidor. Again, I am It's Jalidor across all social medias.
And I am Teacher Heat, Mr. Guzman.
All right. And we will see you next week on another episode. We're trying to drop these weekly on every Monday. So we will see you next week on Lesson Plans to Laces. Thanks, everybody.
Peace.